Tudor. His father is the vocation promoter of St.Patrick missionaries. And I'm very blessed to have him around here today because I was not very sure if he would be. Your father has taken upon himself to also be a student. Again, in this as the representative of the Technical Education Board, Cross River State Ministry of Education, and also informed me that we will be here in a few minutes from the room. So I will thank you. I welcome you, dear students of St. Patrick's College, on this special day as we gather for this. Mr. John and also Mr. Hannah, they come home from school. For those who can go to the university, we could pick up engineering, either mechanical, either metal, or we can go in for the electronic. All these are to build capacity and make us better people. Apart from that also, they have intervened in a number of our programs, and we are delighted to have them today. They promise when they come to Nigeria this time, they will organize this symposium so that they will create awareness more and more. Since last year when they left, we've been able to train a total of 65 students on record and certificate given to them in metal works and in aspects of engineering. Please put your hands together for them. And so some of those who received the training last year are here with us, and some others are not here yet. We are thankful that today it's not going to be Father Dominic speaking to all of you. It's going to be Mr. Uwe and the others speaking to you. I will only introduce them briefly and then I will step aside. But it's good I let you know a little about IFA. IFA is a non-governmental organization that started in Austria many years back, and the essence of beginning this organization was to help intervene in the life of young people, make life worth living, and create situation where the children can be assisted in their education and also trained so that they will become productive people and will use their youthful energy to produce rather than using it for restiveness and causing of problems. And so their work has been in the past years to supply scholarship to students who are indigent, do not have parents, or may have parents but who are not buoyant, to send them to school. Also, they go on training people, setting up workshops. In Nigeria, they have a number of workshops across the country. We have a center in Ikodepene, Akwa Ibom State, where we have woodwork and wood technology. And we have a place presently in Okigwe Diocese, Imo State, and close to Owerri, where they also train in aspects of mechanics. We have other centers in Lagos, in Aba. In Aba, we have a center there still run by, in collaboration with them, where we have the hospital and then the training in the hospital or medicals. We have places in Lagos and other distant parts. But we are blessed to have this center in Calabar and within one of our very pronounced college, St. Patrick's College. And so it is an opportunity on this day to welcome all of you, welcome them again, and leave the floor for them to continue with this training. At this point, I wish to very humbly invite Professor Uwe to speak to us. He will let us know a little more about IFA and the ideology behind it, their philosophy, the workings, and why they choose to intervene in the life of young people, and more so in Nigeria. He will also tell you how far they have gone with those they have trained. And some of them are already here, and we are particularly happy that you two are now part of the training program. Thank you for turning up. And put your hands together for Professor Uwe.
Yes. Good morning. says Hilfe für alle. This means help for all. All is a little bit large. It means that every person who needs help, independent of color, if women or men, or religions, this doesn't matter. HIFA was founded in 1971 by Adolf Pastor and his wife Martha Pastor in Austria, and in 1973 by Reverend Father Dr. Aaron Eku here in Nigeria. The first common project was a teaching farm. A lot of different projects followed. The money came and comes from the so-called little people by donations. No support by government or the church. When Adolf celebrated his 80th birthday in Vienna, I met Monsignor Dr. Emanuel Monitok. He spoke about vocational education here in Calabar. In November 2010, this was my first time that I went to Nigeria. I saw the buildings, I saw some old machines, and I saw the possibilities. The Archdiocese of Calabar supported and support us. Because every craftsman needs a minimum of knowledge in metalwork to prepare his tools. HIFA Austria concluded to install vocational education at first in metalwork. Other branches should follow. The first step was to install some machines like the lathes, you can see it in the workshop, and I found two young men, Gerald Beranek and Thomas Conrad, for the first seminar 3 years ago. They cannot come a second time because the one got a tropic disease and the other his third child, and his wife says, no more Nigeria. In fall of 2015, I met Johann Schill. You see him here. And he's a very experienced master in metal sheet work. And he organized money, a lot of tools and materials, and came last year with his friend Thomas Stulik. His experience was so good that he organized a second transport. This time is Mr. Harald Reichert with him, and they tell you something about their work now. Thank you for your attention.
And the contribution we are making is to make ourselves available. Things are free. People don't take it seriously. I have experienced that in the last 6 or 7 years in the different interventions I have introduced to students here and to students who treat it as we would treat Bereich examination. Anyway, there's something we will treat Bereich examination.
And now I will introduce you this presentation he did for you, and I try to talk a little bit to each picture, to each foliage, and I try to say a few words to it, yes? So here the first is a very great welcome. This is a project in Nigeria, with a name called Teach the Teacher. We show you something about our impressions of living here, about our experiences, and about the reached objectives from last year. Yes? So, Professor Uwe told you what is HIFA and who is HIFA. This is the founder and honored President Adolf Pastor. He founded the HIFA. This is our current president, Professor Kraus, and the vice president and manager is Ulrike Meyer. He is in Vienna and is managing HIFA. So, now project Calabar. did in the past started with one email written by Mr. Uwe to our school. Mr. Uwe wrote a school and invited teachers to take part in this project. And the first who was very interested was Mr. John. And then he started a fundraising campaign in the school. He started a fundraising campaign in the school, and with the money we bought a machine for him. So we are grateful and thankful to all students in Austria, to all teachers, and especially also to all companies who gave us money and machines and tools and so on. We are very grateful, and this can you see on this sheet. So we bought for the amount of 900,000 naira machines, tools and goods for bringing to you. For the amount of 900,000 naira, this was the result of the fundraising campaign. So you can see here any machines and any tools in the next pictures. The machines and tools were loaded and brought to the airport. And here you can see Europe. In the middle of Europe is Austria. Here is Austria, Italy, France, Spain, Algiers, Tunis. Yes, here is the north of Africa, the Mediterranean Sea, and in the north of Italy and in the north of Croatia, here is Austria. We're living here near the boundary to Czech Republic and Slovakian Republic. Austria, a small country with a large history, is divided into 9 federal states. Our federal state is Lower Austria, with the capital St.Patrick. And this is Lower Austria, our federal state. And this federal state is also divided in 21 districts. You understand? And our district is in the northeast, Mistelbach. Mistelbach is our district. Here is the border to Czech Republic, here is the border to Slovakia. And this is the capital city of this district. This is Mistelbach. You can see.
This is from.
Yeah, you can see Mistelbach from the sky. This is the hospital of Mistelbach. There are nearly 10,500 inhabitants in Mistelbach. And this is the vocational school where Master John is teaching. This is the school, a very new school, built 5 years ago, and these are the workshops. Yes? One workshop beside the other. A very great hall workshop. This is where I come from. This is Falkenstein in Lower Austria, near the Czech border. And this is my village. So if I'm looking out of my window in the living room, I can see this view. This is the castle of Falkenstein. It is 1,000 years old. This is the church, school, and the village. Here you can see vineyards. We have many wineries and many winemakers in Falkenstein. It's very interesting. So, this is the team from the last year. Professor Uwe, Master Thomas, and the beloved Master John. So, last year, on the 13th of April, they started on the airport Vienna. Let's start on the airport map. Here is a small video to see the flight to Paris. The flight to Calabar was via Paris and via Lagos. So they arrived on Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris, the greatest airport in France. Airport Charles de Gaulle. And then they went on from France to Nigeria, from France to Lagos. From here, in this direction, to Lagos Airport. The airline was Air France. This is Lagos. Mr. Thomas took this photo, and here the first sign, car sign. Lagos is the center of the excellence, you know. Checking out in Lagos, Mr. Uwe, Thomas Stulik, Mr. Thomas, waiting for the flight, waiting for Tuki by Mr. Paul. And this is the convent in Lagos, where they spent one night, because the flight from Lagos to Calabar was still on the next day. They had to stay one night in convent in Lagos. This is dinner. A view out of the window from the convent, from the room in the convent, with the church on the opposite side. Church in Lagos, a mass. So, and now the flight from Lagos to Calabar. It has already been very exciting for Thomas and for Mr. John, and also this year for me. This was very exciting. So, and this is the flight to Calabar. Here is Calabar. You know where it is. I think so. The landing in Calabar, and they were greeted by rain, heavy rain. You can see. This is airport Calabar, and then Father Dominic waiting for them and brought Mr. Uwe, Mr. John, and Mr. Thomas to the SPC, to the college. Here is dinner at the restaurant with Agnes. You know these pictures. And now, the first they did was a walk around the SPC. They did a walk around the SPC to explore all and to see all the rooms and the buildings. And now you see photos from their first walk around. These are the rooms where we are sleeping, where they slept. 1, 2, 3. Which rooms are here? Pets, our pets. The crocodiles, yes, my crocodile. A little tired, this pet, yes.
I told you, for the whole of last year, we were able to train a total of, but we consider that we can still accept the student, at least the last 2 weeks they are to be with us. They should be going back this month or again more, because knowledge, the experience they have got, those who have paid attention, is going to be the song, shoulder, slow, shoulder. In other words, let us partner together. Let us collaborate. No interaction. We will not be able to work. I will be scared to come to you because I'm not sure whether you will accept me. But if we work together, hand in gloves together, it will be easy to lift a very heavy learning, and it will be easy to move on a very rocky journey, and it will also be easy for us to achieve our goal. For this reason, I say thank you to all of you for this, and then now it's question time. We will take the first question.
Good morning all. My name is Patrick Anthony Francis. I stay in a building development authority. Please, my question is from the project that we are doing now, 2017 project.
Yes.
And from what he was saying, the blogger was saying, he said they are going to use the material that we have now to construct the gutter round. Yeah, from what
which has been constructed already.
Yes, from the picture. Now, and we know the material here is a metal. And from the little knowledge we have, the exposure of the metal to air and water causes rust. And we know this is a kind of something that attacks.
Okay, please.
So my question now is, how would
how will these materials be able to stand in the face of heat and rain?
Yeah.
Okay, what we are using now, what we call in Nigeria galvanized steel or galvanized pipe. Rust does not penetrate galvanized. To say that a metal is galvanized means that that metal has the capacity or tenacity to resist rust, resist heat of rain or sun, and then the water pouring. I think Mr. Harold will. Yes.
It can be that it starts roasting. So after years, you must give a cover, a sheltering cover on it. Yes.
Inside. Okay.
Inside the gutter, you must give it, and inside the bucket. Yes. So I think after 5-6 years, you should do it. You should shelter it for roasting.
That is for after a period of 5 years.
And there are very, very special and very expensive connections to do. And it is very expensive, but you can do it. So aluminium is not roasting. Water doesn't matter. In this way, you have to do it in a few years.
So this is continuous maintenance. But we can use aluminium, which according to Mr. Harold is more expensive. And then it can stand for a test of time. Thank you.
I greet you all. I am the competitor SPC, Calabar.
Your name, please. Your name.
I want to ask, I know very well in engineering, before you can produce anything, it comes with a sketch. Now, due to sketch, do you have any way we can design this using computers in this training, or are we doing it manually, the sketch of whatever we want to do?
So the pictures. Good. You see them drawing. There is no aspect of engineering work. Well, for the roadside engineers, it's possible that they can have the mental picture and start working. But the best design you will find with the engineers. And sometimes we confuse engineering and limit it to just those who are into mechanical, electrical, electronics, metal. Engineering is larger than that, because the man who draws a building, an architect, is an engineer. The man who sets up the structure which you build and at the end of the day makes the roof with wood is also an engineer. Anyone who can imbibe technology and then puts it to use is an engineer. So to your question now they do a lot of drawing in the workshop before all these things are put down. They draw, they measure the parameter, the dimension, and come up from the drawing, they lift the drawing into what they want to get. But for now, there are a number of computers there, the software is there, but at the moment, they have not taught those we are training the use of these computers for design. But if you are a design engineer, we welcome you because that's why we are here. I want you to know that we have a number of books also donated by them that are there.
I want you to explain to us how we can combine our normal required academic activity in the classroom with this technical skill acquisition. How can we combine it so that we go with the two?
Thank you, Mom. From the very day of inception, some of you were in junior class. How do you benefit from this program? I need an answer. Because I said that over and over, and if you check your timetable at the moment, you should give Monsignor that answer. And someone in senior class help us? How many? Okay. St.Patrick, the last period for science students, those who have particular interest to be there. Well, that last period is left free, so I have asked the principal to slot in this for not only for metal and mechanical works, but for different versatile, different kinds of learning. For those who want to go into the paint production, the soap production, the soap production, yeah, the candle, and then those who want engineering, the electrical, electronics, the metal and mechanics. So it's open. But I'm praying that the tendency of students who always want the last minute to run home and eat should not capture them. While I was in the seminary, most of the things I brought in here as principal, I learned them in the seminary. And I was having a full-time program of the seminary, which is regimented and strict. But I still carve out time to learn this because I always thought when I become a priest, what other thing will I do? Assuming I'm sent to a village where the people don't have anything except maybe planting and harvesting. Can I teach them another thing for livelihood? Can I also make them understand Christ much more than celebration of the Mass, teaching of catechism? Can I make them be more useful to themselves? If I meet young people who do not have something doing, what other thing can we help them learn so that they will not remain idle and they will not develop tendency of restiveness, so become problematic? Can they have something that to learn? He is at that point a student. So if Monsignor comes to learn, Monsignor is a student. Are we together? But then to make it very clearly, understanding your question, Monsignor coming to learn is a special student. And so this program and project is open to all in the society. Whether you are a working class, you are without job, those we call jambites, waiting to go to university, or you are a student in secondary school, or you are not working, you are into your private business, or you are already doing a roadside engineering work, either as a welder, a metal worker, or any of such sort, or you are just interested in learning something new. This program is open, and may I add also that this program, since its inception, is free. Thanks to Monsignor Steele, who encouraged the Archdiocese to leave it free, so as to attract people to come. The 65 so far trained have not just been students. Of course, of those we have awarded certificate, none is a student of St. Patrick's College, except those who are outborn students, but more than 50 are people from the society. Presently, those ongoing in the training, 4 are people from the society, not necessarily students. So that is not students of secondary school or within any confined system. But because they are coming to learn, they are students. Thank you.
contribution per se, but a little contribution. I remember when I was working under Monsignor Monty as a prophetess in Maryland. He used to make a statement that said that no knowledge is a waste. And when Jesus was washing the feet of the disciples, he told them, what I'm doing now, you do not understand, but in the future you will understand. And we have a little problem with water in the church. But this little training, they're very great, so they lose little. Very great. Right now I'm planning with one of the students here to go and prepare and put that, to put the best, because what the people put there has been causing some leakages. They did a very long work. So with this knowledge now, we are able to assist the church in a little way. And even I still remember in my journey school, in our sewing center in Bukan Secondary School, when the sewing machine had problem, I used to repair it from the little knowledge my father showed me. He said, what I'm doing to you now, you will not understand, but in the future you will understand. So I encourage you students, even some of you may be aspiring to become politicians, and I am telling you in future politics will be very tough. Go into the technical knowledge. The money that people are thinking that is in politics may disappear, because change is only one sense. Thank you.
But if you learn it tomorrow, it will be of help.
But I want to say, I've been calling me Monsignor. So I want to ask one of the students, what is my name? But that they may tell me that they know. What is my name? I don't want to hear you. My name is Monsignor. Okay. Any other person? Please clap for him. Father Dominic for this opportunity. In fact, I sent a text to him. He said, please, at your convenience, call my number. That was yesterday. And he did. He called. Because sometimes I want to tell him here, I phone, Father will not pick. Phone, but I say it's busy. But the best thing for me I have learned is to send a text. And so I even tell him at this time I will phone. He will be waiting for you then, or call me at the convenience. That time somebody is busy and you are sending down, you are phoning, ringing. He will ignore you. Say, when I have time. He is very busy doing something, he doesn't want to forget. But that is by the way. But what I want to say is that I thank Father Dominic and thank these my good friends from Austria. With Jonathan that time, HIFA, and I say HIFA. HIFA is help for all. Help for all. Hilfe für alle. So I thank them very much. I appreciate them. Their sacrifice. They forget about themselves. They want to help. They want to assist. They want to lift us up. They forget about something about their family. About even the coming here, the danger involved. Coming to Africa, this area, talking about kidnapping and so on. Sometimes they say, will I be safe? Can I stay with kidnappers? I will tell them, don't worry, God is with you. And they have been coming, and I want to thank them sincerely. And also, to send my special greeting to the pioneer person. The pioneer person is Chief Adolf, and he's the person that started all this in Nigeria. And his dear daughter, Ulrike, will remain very grateful and indebted to them about this HIFA program. What is right now? Because they started nevertheless in Enugu. Let me not go into long history because Father Dominic has something else, and I also maybe have something else. But started with Enugu with one led Father Aaron. What they were doing, they were sending relief together to Nigerians attacked during the war. But after the war, he came in and said, what else, as Father Dominic has told us here? After this, what next can you do? They were giving even scholarship to children, secondary and primary. After that, they started building workshops. Wood workshops, iron workshops, and even hospitals. And so on, they assisted in many places. So we thank them sincerely. And then they did something at Ikonek, but in some other places. our eyes is jealous. Human beings naturally. So I said, what can they do for Calabar? I want them to come to Calabar. I proposed this iron business. They said they would do something. And then, thank God, our brother came. And he came and saw, as Padoni mentioned, the old machines that were here. And he did something about it. Started, and then after that, he sent us new ones. So we're very grateful to him. I brought in Padoni, who was then the principal of this place. I want people to say, I was disturbing him every time, as I said here, that we should do something here. We got permission from the Archbishop Emeritus to rename this place HIFA Center, even though it is in SPC. It's in writing. The Emeritus Archbishop granted that permission. So I mentioned to the new incumbent bishop that this is HIFA Center. It's not St.Patrick Center. So then, when we came, we started things that Padoni has mentioned. But let me not so much get into the history. Padoni has told the history. I want to continue from where he stopped. Where he stopped was things you call do it yourself. Not everything you call carpenter. Not everything you call bricklayer. Not everything you call this and that. There are things you should learn and do it yourself, even in your house. Even repairs of fridge, repairs of one thing or the other, you should read and learn. By now we can browse internet and see very many information. In that, this do it yourself has helped many people on the ground that, as Bernie Fairham said. I know of 3 boys. He's a student, he can lay blocks, bricks. I know he uses that to pay his school fee. I know a student who is a plumber. He uses that work to pay his school fee. I know another person who is a carpenter, make materials. There are students, I know another one that is a generator repairer. He will take work and then during time, free time, go and repair it. He uses that to buy whatever he wants. He uses that to buy his laptop. He's a student, but he's doing all those things. These don't stop him from going out, as his parents has said here, at your spare time, at your convenience, you go and do those things. It would help you. It will, even if you can, sometimes you can take interest in that. And for example, I have a painter now. A painter has gone into how to wash not only the wall, the roof, and paint the roof and the iron there, spray. I was the person that did the garment center for Ajade, and he studied physics, and I interacted with him, and I knew that he's very good in maths. He studied physics because we were discussing calculus. We were discussing further maths with him. He was able to make he was telling me so many things. He gave me the names of all the lecturers in the university, but he's a painter now. And then, for example, the work we are paying him to paint the cathedral, we are paying him 500,000. Labor only. Labor, and he has a car. He has a boss, he has a car. But he studied physics in the university. Now, that church cathedral, now when you come, you see, he's the person in charge of painting the cathedral. So, not only as a, that's why I had to ask Father that question. How do we combine our academic activities with these skill acquisitions and skill and it as your spare time, at your company. Someone who has interest. Anybody say, when there is a will, there is a way. Let's enjoy the thing. Please, why I pray for
Well, I became a priest. Well, I am not. That's for another time. I just want to refer to Harold, to John, to Uwe, who have come all the way from Austria. I want to ask you, how much money are they going to earn for coming here? If you know the answer, put up your hand. How much money are they going to get for coming here? Shout very loud.
They are not paid for it.
They are not paid for it. Clap for it. that make any difference? And I'm talking about priesthood as well. When I came here, did I come to get a fortune? Yes or no?
No.
No. Some days, these days, I have to use candor to see by. That's how it was when I first came here in 1971 to this college. The first house I slept in Nigeria was that house where I'm sleeping now. Okay, I want to say and that changes your heart somehow. If you are working from a sense of doing something to make the world a better place. I know we can say that to make you holy, but I would put it to make, if your heart says, I want to make the world a better place, there's a good chance there's a lot of holiness already inside you. It's not how many prayers you know, but it's how kind you can be and how helpful you can be to other people. And what you do with your time as a priest, missionary priest, a diocesan priest, as long as you keep money out of it, you will do so many things for your people that you would not even think of doing if you were only interested in what can give you a return, a financial return. Somehow money can cloud our vision. I was here teaching in this college for 6 years. I was quite limited in my teaching. I was teaching physics for a little while and then maths all the time and religion to class what's now JS2. We used to do the WASC then. It was only a 5-year course. Then I went to the junior seminary in Pharmacy, and I stayed there for 18 years, and I was teaching maths and physics. That was in the classroom. And then I was also the principal or the rector of the seminary, and I was teaching boys how to do wiring of houses, and they learned. I was teaching boys how to care for the generators, and they learned. And I was teaching boys the plumbing, of how to fix the water pipes. What was I doing? I was making sure we bought the tools that we needed. And whatever little knowledge I have, I gave it to them. Every year that I was in pharmacy, there were 4 students at any one time that were called engineers. And why were they called engineers? I mean, none of them had gone to university. They were the ones who, after they got to class 4, they went into class 5 and they ceased to be active engineers, although still there as advisors. So from class 2, 3, 4, and the beginning of class 5, then when the exams were getting close, they had to drop. And a class 1 boy will take off at the end of class 1. That's the 4 engineers we had. And they learned everything that could be learned for people of that age about how to maintain a generator, even to change the oil, to check for the water, how to turn it on, how to turn it off, when not to turn it on. And they were the ones I taught how to do all the lighting, the wiring in the seminary. There's nothing to do with being a priest, is it? I mean, I'm supposed to teach you how to say Regina Coeli, isn't it? But it's not. It's much, much more than that. So what Uwe and John and Harold are doing for us is sharing their own talents and sharing it with others to make this particular place a better place. I did in promising what I had to do mainly out of necessity, because it was too far away to be calling mechanics from Calabar to come the 25 miles to the seminary. And we had to do it ourselves, and we did it. And it was an enjoyable experience. maybe not as enjoyable as the football field, but it was enjoyable. And the football field was also enjoyable. But I was teaching in St. Patrick's when I was here. I was the games master, teaching football all right, although I had people helping me, and then teaching athletics. The field that is now your main football field was the athletics track. So, and we had a good athletics team, and we had a good football team. But anyway, we carried on that into Infamasing, but Infamasing never became good at athletics because there were no competitions to take part in. We didn't do it. That's a little bit of my own story, but I really want to emphasize and thank the three brothers who have come from Austria to emphasize the point that we need to emphasize to ourselves, we as priests, that we become priests not with regard to the financial return. And John Lee was a good example of that. Mama, we want to learn from him, look at his lifestyle. And you know, you can do much more for people when money isn't there. You just reach out from your heart, you give of your time, you give of your talents, you do what you can do, and then you say, God, it's all in your hands. And everything is in his hands too. And God brought these three men to us this year. And hopefully they'll be coming for some years to come. So thank you, Father Dominic, for allowing me to say those few words. Not my vocation story, but that's there somewhere else.
Which is one big hammer he has played. I'm not sure I can emphasize that. But before we go, I need to take that. Experience I had in 2010 when I came.
As a participant, you are no longer, this one is not your appreciating. You are here.
Indeed, personally, I'm very happy to have been participating in what was going on, even though I came a bit late. But I observed that this type of exercise does not only tell us to hear, it allows us to see. Because what we see as images, it helps us to remember more and inspires us to do the same thing, to go that far in terms of skill acquisition. And as I asked the children, most of them are students, how would they combine academic work with skill acquisition? That can be done. As I mentioned to them, some do one thing or the other, like repairing of machines, a computer, even medicine, and so on, even to pay their school fee. So one can do what I've done here is very useful and very important to anybody that is interested.
Thank you very much.
It's okay.
Come on. Tell us your name, your class, and what you learned from the seminar.
My name is Augustine from SS2A, students of St.Patrick College. The program that just happened now is a very beneficial program. I've learned that we, despite our academic work, we can make use of our hands to do various things that can be useful to us. We can also make money from it, and also try to help others through it by teaching them. I thank the organizers of the program. Thank them for coming to this school and choosing this school out of others to come to this. Thank you very much.
My name is Moses I'm a student of SPC St. Patrick's College. Okay, I've been from this seminar or orientation from the hi-fi from Austria. I've learned many things because already in our school. I've already been part of the orientation already. So I've learned many things, how to produce many things like soap, many metal, gutters, or roofs, and it helped us in various forms. Also, I've been able to train most of our young ones in this aspect. And I want to thank the hi-fi for choosing our school at the center, and to thank our Archbishop and our school and our county school board for helping to sponsor this organization in our school. Thank you very much.
My name is Ibezimako Anthony Udoka. I am a student of St. Patrick's College, precisely SS2A. Well, there are so many things I've learned from what just happened now, ranging from the morals, the praise inculcated on us, which is we don't do anything because of money. I also thank the three brothers who have made it here today to teach us on skill acquisition, ranging from metal works to plastic making. I'm going to say that it's really a blessing having out of the whole world chosen St. Patrick's College as a center. It is also a blessing being part of it, because there are so many people out there who do not know that this is holding in St. Patrick's College. I thank the HIPAA group who have made it possible to inculcate all these morals on us. Thank you.
So yes, hello, my name is Harald Reichert. I'm from Austria, from Lower Austria, and I'm a teacher at the vocational school. And yes, I was asked why we are teaching here. This is a project by HIFA. This is the organization Hilfe für alle, Help for All, an Austrian organization. And we were invited by this organization to start this project here in Calabar in cooperation with HIFA and St.Patrick's College. And so we started to prepare this project, Teach the Teacher, and it started last year in April, and this year is the second time we are here, and we go on teaching here students and teachers.
So would you say that the program has been a success? Would you say you are sure you have impacted to the students? Would you say you're okay with what you have seen?
Yes, we are very happy what we have seen this year when we came. There is much was going on during the year, and we are professionals, and we can say here will be worked very well with a very good quality, and so it makes sense for us to come again and to go on working here.
So when you leave now, would you want to come back to Calabar again?
Yes, when we leave, we intend to come back, and we hope it is possible. So we also must plan and arrange it with our school, with our headmasters, and with HIFA. But we intend to come back. Yes.
Okay.
We enjoyed very much here to work and to teach your students and your teachers.
Do you have any challenge so far in your stay in Calabar? Do you have any challenge? Do you have any problems so far in your stay in Calabar?
No, there are no problems for us. We are very good cared, and Father Dominic is always near us, and so if there would be any problem, we tell him, and I think we can solve it.
Thank you very much.
Our special team, and this is our tinsmith, the profi as a tinsmith, and he has many years of experience in tinsmithing and in teaching students.
Right, good, great.
He is called the beloved Mr. John.
It's called the beloved Mr. John.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm delighted also to have this interaction with the CRBC. I want to say the three men who came to present the papers of the workshop and also educate us in entrepreneurial education are from Austria. Professor Uwe Kroos and Mr. Harald Sricha and Mr. John Shear. They have been friends over time. They belong to the HIPAA Austria non-governmental organization, and over the years, for precisely 5 years now, they've been coming to Cross River State and Calabar precisely to partner with the Catholic Archdiocese of Calabar to see how they can bring this program, which is a continuous thing in Austria, so that Cross Riverians will be of help. The HIPAA Austria, the word HIPAA is an abbreviation which means help for all. started many years back in the 60s, but the first center was established in 1971 in Enugu, here in Nigeria, for Nigerian people to learn technology and how to apply skills in producing what they need. And so in Nigeria we have 9 centers, but in Cross River State we have only 1 center. The choice of St. Patrick is number 1 because of the location. Number 2, it is a school environment. Number 3, it is one of our Catholic schools, and since the Catholic Archdiocese of Calabar partners with this non-governmental organization in Austria, it was wise and cost-effective to bring the center to St. Patrick's College. Apart from that, St. Patrick has a name, and far back in the 60s, before government took over this college, engineering was part of one of the activities and was also curricular in the part of the curriculum. And so we are only trying to bring back what was. And in these days, within the educational system in Nigeria, where we are encouraged to go back to making use of our hands, it is even more wholesome to locate this skill acquisition and entrepreneurial center within a school so that the students may learn and also may be helped. It makes a lot of difference seeing the professors and the teachers from a foreign country coming in here to also interact with our teachers and the students. At the moment, they are handling the metal, the mechanical, and the electrical, electronic works with students, not only students of St. Patrick's College or students of Catholic schools, but students across schools in Cross River State. And above all, it is not only open to secondary school students who are primarily or basically science and technology students, but it is open to all in the society who are willing to learn. Those who are doing roadside electrical work, those who are doing roadside fabrication, and those also who undertake metal work, welding. It is also an opportunity to retrain them. And so we are glad to have this there and also to have them around us. Thank you.
Thank you.